Well, you do?
When the time is right.
All right, will do. All right. Okay, just for anybody that is out there listening in, we have, it looks like 24 people out there listening in. When the petitions or communications are all written come up, if you want to be recognized, please say something, and we'll recognize you if you have an opinion or something to say. With that, let's go ahead and start with a roll call, please.
Here. Here. Here.
Ogletree. Here. Shoe. Williamson.
Here.
Rico.
Here. Approval of the agenda. Did council have any changes or additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Second.
Second.
Call vote.
Ivona.
Yes. Yes.
Rigo.
Yes.
Ogletree. Yes. Shoe. Williamson. Rico.
Yes. Item 3, policy items, staff reports. Mike, do you have anything from the staff on policy reports?
Nothing to report. Hold on.
Hang on 1 second and allow council members to get signed in.
Sure can. Okay, let the record reflect that Frank Shue is checked in and he's now with us. So we're ready to continue. Item 3, policy items, staff or staff reports. Mike, did you have anything to report from staff?
Nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Item 4, petitions or communications, oral or written. Mr. Matei, I think you were there. Was there something that you wanted to mention?
Well, yeah, I could now's the appropriate time, and if it may have pleased the council.
Sure.
And the mayor, it has been brought to my attention that there's a recommendation, suggestion, or movement afoot to rename Fisher's Peak State Park to Raton Mesa. And I just felt obligated to vehemently voice my opinion in opposition to that idea. It seems to me that it's a Colorado State Park named after, or tentatively proposed to be Fisher's Peak State Park, which Fisher's Peak has been for as long as I can which is why Supreme Court will relaunch the Colorado State Park after a city in New Mexico? Makes no sense at all to me. I just wanted to voice that opinion for whatever it's worth.
Well, your voice is well heard, and that's the opinion of the rest of City Council, as well as many residents of not only the city of Trinidad, but of the county, that are from what I've heard, and even people that are involved with the within our organization for Fisher's Peak. So you're not alone. So
Very good, sir. Thank you
okay.
for hearing me. Good night.
Thank you. Okay, I've got a couple of things.
Councilman. Good to see you.
Got a couple of things here I need to mention from communications that were written to us, mayor and city council members. Thank you for supporting the Los Angeles and Huerfano County District Health Department with your grant of $10,000. That money will be used to help our community through this very difficult time. We're very appreciative of the support we have received from the City of Trinidad during this time of crisis. Thank you, Ms. Kim Gonzalez. It was nice to be recognized that she accepted the money in good faith. Also, I have another letter here. This is from a Vicky Rinks. Thank you so much for the wonderful fireworks display on the 4th of July. It was just what we needed to lift our spirits during this difficult time. Sincerely, Vicky Rinks. And there again, we were very fortunate that we had a little bit of rain that I think it tempered the fire possibilities, and so it was good. It was a welcome rain, and it was a beautiful event. I also have here a letter from the Partners for a Drug-Free Community. I want to read into the record. Dated July the 6th, 2020, so it's going to take me a little bit of time because it's almost a full page. It says, Dear City of Trinidad City Council, we are writing to respectfully request at this time that Trinidad makes a commitment to opt out of enacting a marijuana hospitality establishment ordinance or bill HB 19-1230, which would authorize the creation of local licensees to allow adults to consume cannabis in designated public spaces. That could include cafes, restaurants, pot club, establishments, tasting rooms, and hotels. When Amendment 64 for recreational pot was passed in Colorado, over 60% of the municipalities voted for it, yet stated they did not want it in their communities. As members of the Partners for a Drug-Free Community, our mission is experiencing a healthier community through education, intervention, and advocacy, and providing opportunities to develop physical, social, emotional, and civic maturity. Our vision is Partners for a Drug-Free Community envisions a healthy community that encourages substance-free living. We are concerned about the risk that allowing such establishment poses to increase incidences of drugged driving by those who consume in these places. The increased burden on our already taxed law enforcement, the positive perception of cannabis to our local youth, coupled with the fact that there is substantial research that this is being ignored regarding the effects of chronic and long-term use of high-potency cannabis, and that it will roll back the strict indoor clear air regulations that thankfully exist after a long battle with the tobacco industry. Colorado Department of Transportation has said that cannabis, like alcohol, impairs critical abilities to drive safely. Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment observes there to be substantial evidence that it takes up to 4 hours after ingesting marijuana edibles to peak blood THC level. We are concerned, therefore, that adults who eat, smoke, or vape cannabis on site in public consumption establishments are not going to remain for the time needed to resolve their impairment. We also cannot know if they used prior to coming in, or whether they use CBD, which is also not benign and can cause lethargy and sedation. We need to take concrete steps as a community to build protective factors for our youth, not introduce more risk factors. Healthy, enjoyable opportunities for sober activities in our youth, considering the substantial problems we already have with substance abuse in our community, would be the wiser, more prudent choice. We ask that the City Council delay any action on this matter until studying the data which we can provide from the medical and environmental experts in this field over that of the marijuana industry and the enticement to revenue associated with marijuana. Sincerely, Partners for a Drug-Free Community, Debbie Berry, Marcy Key, Jill Wilson, and Felix Lopez. I also have, and I can't read it because it was 3 or 4 pages long and it would take too long. But Mike, I think you saw that, a letter from Dwayne Jones, correct?
Correct.
And anyway, he lives at 425 Riata Drive, and evidently he was issued a, I'm not sure if citation or whatever, for all the weeds that he had on his properties. And I don't know if, I can't remember if they actually fined him or not. They did send him something, I think it was a fine. But his complaint is that he is not being maybe treated equally to other residents in that area about the weeds. So he would also like to have reimbursement of some of his expenses that he's incurred. It sounds like it's for travel time coming to Trinidad and some other stuff. So that's pretty much the basics of it. Like I said,
Mr. Mayor, I think we all received a copy. I got one addressed to me, so I'm assuming everyone was good at that same moment.
I think we all did. But that's the basics of the letter. Am I correct, Mr. Valentine?
You are correct, and staff has been working with him. He was issued the same warning that everybody, that weeds are over 6 inches. He took it upon himself to mow a lot more and clean the city, and we're dealing with it, Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to, because it was a letter that was brought to all of our attention, and so let's go ahead and move forward with item 5, which is our consent agenda. 5A, approval of regular meeting minutes of June the 16th, 2020. Special meeting minutes of June the 22nd, 2020. Item B, appointment of Hillary DiPaolo to the Space Create Commons Oversight Board. That's a 7-member board. We still need one more to fill that board. Item C, I don't know if Hillary DiPaolo is on or not, but regardless, it's...
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is Paul Dugal from representing BNDAY.
Okay. Well, thank you for putting in your application, and looking to having you on board. Item C, a new hotel and restaurant liquor license application filed by BJ&Y Restaurant Incorporated at 900 West Adams Street, set for public hearing at 6 p.m. on August the 18th, 2020, and the tentative neighborhood boundary as the city's corporate limits. Sanjeev Dugal, Ms. Dugal, or Mr. Dugal, are you on?
Yes, sir. This is Dugal.
Okay, Mr. Dugal, thank you for saying that you're here. Like I said, your hearing is, like you heard, that I read, it would be August the 18th. Item D is approval of the bills, $2,231,545.23. Item E, approval of the payroll, June 27th, 2020 through July the 10th, 2020. The amount of $335,976.47. Could I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second? Okay. Okay, call a vote.
Bono,
Yes.
Riddle,
Yes.
Riego,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. Item 6, public hearings, we have none this evening. Item 7, unfinished business, we also have none. Item 8, miscellaneous business. 8A, council liaison appointment to the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee to replace Mr. Anthony Mattei. And we pretty much have everybody on as a liaison to some of the boards and commissions that we have. With Mr. DeBono coming on, Mr. DeBono, would you consider being on the Arts and Cultures Committee for City Council?
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, could I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any council discussion?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Call a vote?
DeBono,
Yes.
Riddle,
Yes.
Riego,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. Mr. DeBono, get with Audra, and she will inform you as to when the meetings are, and time and where, so that you can be available. Okay? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Item B, consideration of extraterritorial 2-inch water tap request by Tony and Tammy Paradisa at 13840 Highway 350. Could I have a motion, please?
Can we get some information? Can we get some information from?
Yeah,
Robert, man?
we will. We'll have a motion in a second, then we'll go into discussion.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay, could I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion, Mike, do you have that information, or is someone else going to report or brings up to snuff on that?
Mayor, I can report that I would refer to, Mark Beal, he's our new water utility director, he should be on the call. Are you there, Mark? Yes, I'm here.
Mark, could you give us some information, please?
Yes, back in, let me look here, back in 2010, December 21st to 2010, the previous council had already approved this, but for various reasons, the owners at that time didn't move forward. And since Tony and Tammy Paradisa have now requested, the 2-inch extraterritorial for water tap for the existing building that, used to be the Velcom and belongs to Oda.
Okay.
Or is there any other questions?
Let's start with council. Mr. Williamson, I see you first on the, do you have any questions for Mr. Beal?
I have no questions.
Mr. Goodall, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Ms. Ogletree?
No questions.
Mr. DeBono?
Mr. Paradis applies like he did in 2010 and doesn't follow through like he did do in 2010.
Well, they have 1 year to activate this water tap. If not, it get voided, and at that point in time, it would be null and void and no good anymore. So they're on a time limit to have to go through, follow through with this.
Okay, Ms. Grego?
No questions, I just need a clarification. So because this is extraterritorial water, if the city runs into problems with water supply, the Paradisos understand that they will not be able to obtain water from the city of Trinidad, correct? Mike or Mark? Okay.
That is correct. That's within our ordinances.
And I don't know, are the Paradisas?
They are also online.
Okay. Okay,
They're also online.
okay,
Yeah, we're on.
okay. Mr. Shu?
Yeah, my only question, is these, the water lines to supply the buildings, are not being supplied now?
That is correct. They haul water out there correctly.
Okay, that's,
And I don't know if it's practical at this time. Les, you might let me know if to ask the Paradisas at this point in time, is there any particular use that they're going to be having this 2-inch water line for?
I think it's an appropriate question, Mayor.
It's inappropriate?
No, it's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We've got some interest in, one of the municipalities for the city of Trinidad, looking at developing or adding a larger structure to the east side of town, which is the ambulance. And they were wanting to make sure that we had a water tap put in place if we could. And the main reason why we didn't do it last time is because by the time we were going to put the tap in, we put the gas tap in, and the economy kind of crashed, and we ended up not, the business went out of business. So that's the reason why we didn't do it at the time.
Okay.
But we will do it this time for sure.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions or any concerns about the water tap?
I do not at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions come up from any of the council members at this time? Ms. Ogletree, go ahead.
Does the city have an interest in annexing this land eventually? Is that kind of in the future?
Yeah, this is Mark. I'm sorry, but yes, that's along with the ordinances if we should decide to annex, if they're agreeing to the annexation.
Okay, and it's something that we're considering at some point in the future?
I don't think we've had any of that discussion yet. That would be something that I think we would have to have an internal discussion on with Mike and staff. But at this point in time, I don't think there's an actual consideration. Am I correct, Mike?
That is correct. We've kind of looked at the area. Part of the issue is to annex, they have to have contiguity to the city limits. This parcel is kind of in an island in the county, not contiguous with the city limits. But as Mark stated, with the application, when they sign it, it strictly states in the application that if and when the city would request annexation, they would not fight the petition, they would sign the petition. So, and I'm pretty sure they're aware of that.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay. Well, if there are no further discussion, would you please call a vote?
DeVoto,
Yes.
Goodall,
Yes.
Griego,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. Item C, consideration of bid result for project number 10-2020 curb cuts and sidewalks 2020 phase 1. That was for Baca Construction at $45,841.50. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion is that Mr. Beach? Is he on to give us information on this?
I am, Mr. Mayor, members of council, good evening. It's kind of deceiving when you say that the total price is $45,841. That is this bid is one of the most unusual ones we've done so far. The approximate value of this project is around $400,000 according to engineering estimates that we've done. What we're trying to do is to get unit pricing for each item that is going to be involved in this project. Because of the scope of the project, we can't really identify, we did not identify the exact number of quantities. We'd still be working on that a year from now if we had to do something like that. So in order to circumvent that, we're going to try to do unit pricing. So as you see in your package, we have lineal foot, square foot pricing for several different items. And we're going to work off of that. Each corner, each intersection, each curb cut will be decided by engineering department and the contractors to the limit of the construction, and then we will pay off that. So, and it's a little bit confusing, I understand. I'm more than willing to try to answer questions for you if I need to, excuse me.
Okay. Mr. Williamson.
The only question that comes to mind right now, Tom, is if you're doing that on unit pricing and you happen to come into a situation that hasn't been laid out in the proposal, request for bid, what mechanism is in place to negotiate the cost of that item?
We'll work on a type of a change order, either add an item, add a line item. This is kind of an experiment, if I can elaborate a little bit. This is the first of approximately 8 projects of this type that we're going to do for curb cuts and sidewalks. We've got 4 years to do it. We tried to do one project this year earlier to do 300 and some curbs, and nobody could get bonding for it because it was $750,000, $800,000. So we had no bonders, no bidders for that. So we cut it in half, and we kind of modeled it a little bit after Alamosa City projects that they do every year. They do an itemized price list like this, and then work off of that with their sidewalks, curbs remediated. So to say that there won't be additions would be, for me, be incorrect. There are going to be changes. There's going to be negotiation with the contractor, and the contractor and the city are both aware of that. So we'll have to work with that. But I think once we get the first one, perhaps the second one under our belts, we'll have a lot better idea how to go forward with the remainder. And there's a substantial amount of work to do here.
All right. And then I guess I would ask is there any inherent limitation as to what the change order may be, or there's no cap on that at all?
We really don't have a mechanism in place to cap it, no, but we would certainly have the power of saying, well, no, we're not gonna do that. I mean, that would be our biggest mechanism, just say no. You know, we certainly have the right and ability to do that, so.
Okay.
Mr. Goodall? Mr. Goodall?
I have nothing. It's nice that we have a local contractor who's getting or has put in for the bid on this, and I'm very comfortable with Baca Constructions.
Okay. Ms. Ogletree?
No questions.
Mr. Shu?
No questions.
Ms. Grego? Ms. Grego? Guess she's on mute. Mr. Shu? Think.
So I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Mr. DeBono, Mayor.
Mr. DeBono?
I had one question on the $14,000 construction mobilization cost, which includes what, the startup cost of transportation, the fuel, and the initial materials. How is that tied in with the administration mobilization, with the licensing and the payment of the bonds and securing permits and such?
No, mobilization is just a generic line item for them to get mobilized to get going on the project. Bonds and insurance are on separate lines completely.
Okay.
And that was part of the problem with the first go round, is the bonds were so big that nobody could afford the bonds, they just couldn't get it.
Okay.
Mobilization is just to get their feet on the ground and get going.
Right.
Mr. Beach, is this just a single curb cut for this 45, or is this going to be 2 or 3?
No, this is taking all the line items, I'm thinking there's 22 line items, I believe, and just the per square foot
Okay.
price on each one of those.
Okay.
At 45,000, as Mayor and Council know, we don't really have to bring that to Council for approval, and Mike could sign off on that for less than 50,000, but because this project is considerably larger than 50,000, 400,000, around 400,000. That's why we're bringing it to you tonight for your approval and let you know what's going on with this.
Well, and it does make sense to let the public know that this is all part of our ADA compliance that we're having to deal with, and as you bring them forward, it informs them that we are aware of what's going on, and that ADA compliance is moving forward. So.
And that's exactly correct. I'm looking this afternoon, if I may, and there are several corners that are listed in our actual ADA or DOJ settlement that are in this first go round of curb cuts, and they'll remediate those as well. So that'll keep us in good graces with the Department of Justice, who have been very amenable lately to working with us. So.
Are any of these curb cuts, sidewalks part of the housing authority that you've been working with?
They are not at this point.
Okay.
That'll be a separate project.
Okay. Council have any other questions?
I had one final question. As the project goes along, will it be able to have a hard number assigned to it as to completion of the project, Tom? Like when work is done today, we're at 30%. When work is done a month from today, we're at 60%. Is that able to be?
I would say it'd be a hard number. It would be a number. I mean, we could certainly come up with a number because we have this go round. There are 160 items, 160 lines, and we can check them off pretty easily.
Okay.
If we go through them, we'll know. I'll be able to say yes, we're at 50%, but that number may be deceptive because some of them are very simple, where other ones are quite complicated.
Okay, I was curious.
Yeah, understand.
Okay, if there is no further discussion, would you please call a vote?
Bono?
Yes.
Goodall?
Yes.
Griego?
He's on mute.
Mr. DeBono, would you please unmute? Or who's on?
Ms. Grego.
Ms. Grego? think we've lost Karen. I'm not sure what's happened.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Rico?
Yes, and Karen's in the house, and I'm not sure where did she just popped up. Karen, can you hear me?
We need to set out a search party.
Karen, can
Sorry.
Hello.
Karen?
I'm going, see you later.
Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen, we just asked for a vote on the curb cuts. That item C. Are you an aye or an A? That's
I and I.
okay. You're an aye. Okay.
I and I.
Okay. All right. Motion passes then. Okay, motion passed 7-0. On to item 9, council reports. We'll start with Mr. Williamson.
The only thing I would have to report is I'll be attending my first Council of Government board meeting in a couple of weeks, so looking forward to that. And was at the Council of Governments had a emergency food distribution this week, and the people going through that, it was the least number I've seen recently. So I think maybe just make sure people know about that program, because it's sure a good benefit for those that need it. So it might be helpful to share that information.
Okay. Mr. Goodall?
So I did have the opportunity to attend the CML annual meeting where the new officers were elected. We had 155 members participating in the meeting, which was a very large number. So it was well attended. It was agreed upon to freeze dues costs, so they will stay at the 2020 levels. There's a virtual conference coming up in August, be the 25th, 26th, and 27th. And next year's conference for the annual meeting will be in Snowmass. Okay, so all this BS comes to an end and we're able to once again start attending conferences. That's where next year's meeting will be. Other than that, I'd like a couple of things for future work sessions. And an ideal, I'd really like to discuss how we can start looking at, like other communities already are, what we would need to do to be able to get back in chambers to do the meetings. As convenient as this is, it still, I think, continues to be a pain in the ass. And I would like to see us find a way to get back to meetings in chambers. So I'd like to have a work session on that.
Okay. Anything else? That's it?
That's it for me.
Okay. Ms. Ogletree?
Mayor, you and Councilwoman Griego and I this afternoon went through a PowerPoint presentation from RPM Events Group on the visioning for the bicycle tourism, and it was a very good presentation. There's so much that Trinidad can do along these lines towards becoming well known for gravel grinding on our gravel roads in the area in the county, and becoming a mountain bike mecca. Tim Chrysler was also on the call and kind of dovetailed his enthusiasm, and one of my takeaways is that we really do need to move forward with an outdoor recreation person as soon as we can to start effectuating this, because I think it is going to be a really important part of our future economy. The other thing that I would say, as far as work sessions, I would love to learn more about code enforcement. I think the thing that I hear the most lately from Trinidadians about is frustration about code enforcement and how some property is adequately maintained and some is not. And people really don't understand what the city's take is on all of that, and I'm trying to understand it too. So I think it would be helpful, for me at least, to hear more about that, and perhaps I need to just meet with city management and learn more. But I think it'd be good for me to understand how I can help them facilitate whatever complaints that they have about particular pieces of property that they're concerned about.
There is an ordinance there, and maybe if you need a copy of it before you meet with either Mike or whoever, get a copy from Audra, and that way you have some information up front as to how the code enforcement or how the ordinance reads. But yeah, it would be good for you to meet with Mike to have question and answer session.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Mr. DeBono?
Nothing to report on as of now, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Shu?
No, I did have a talk with Mike and made a few suggestions for work session, and well, I'll get with him again and maybe he can bring that up. But other than that, nothing to report.
Okay. Ms. Grego?
City Hall. I'm floating around City Hall, so I apologize. I've had technical difficulties with my notepad. The only thing that I can say as far as reports, I don't get many calls at my office for problems unless they're really severe, or kudos unless they're really spectacular. But I'll tell you what, that fireworks display the other night just knocked everybody out. I got 3 or 4 calls yesterday for people wanting to express their gratitude for what the city did, and it was very nice. It was very nice indeed. So I know Historic Main Street did a lot, and I know Kim Schultz got the vendor. But anybody involved, I want to thank you immensely. And to Miss Ogletree's request for code enforcement, at one point Tony Haddo was giving us a monthly report on the status of houses or properties that were not maintained well. So maybe if we can get him to start sending that to Mr. Valentine, and he can send it to us, so we can have an idea. It helped at one time, Aaron, and I'm sure it would be beneficial for us.
I agree that would be beneficial.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have.
I'm sad that Mr. Haddo has been out the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll get him back on board. And the other non-sworn officers have been helping out along with the chief on these issues. So we'll get that to you.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to, thank the Main Street group for leading the effort in the fireworks. In this time that we're living in, it kind of brightened, I think, everybody's evening, and showed that we are very cognizant of what's going on, but yet we still want to provide some sort of entertainment to the residents of not only the city, the county, or any tourists that are in the area. So it was nice to see. Like Ms. Ogletree mentioned, I participated and listened to that RPM bike meeting that went on today, and this area could be huge as far as biking goes, according to from what I was hearing. It also enlightened me that I knew that there was some work that we had to do, but it enlightened me even more so that there's a lot of help out there, but we also have some work ourselves to do. But I think this is a good possibility to enhance our economic basis. So I think that it's something that we really need to continue to look hard at, to try to develop the recreation aspect of what we are trying to do. and do a good job of it so that it will bring in those tourism dollars into our city, which would help the heads and the beds in the hotels, but also the all the other things, just downtown where people can go and visit, and all the diners. But I think that's going to be a big thing for us. I think we just need to work on it real hard. 2 weeks ago at the tourism board, they also had a representation or the presentation by RPI of Durango, and Wally, I think, brought him in, and they were similar to the RPM bike group in a sense. And but anyway, that was also interesting. It's kind of along the same lines with the RPM. Everybody just seems to be recognizing that Trinidad is on the map for recreation in a lot of different ways. So I think it's time that we jump on this, because I think it's our future. I was also in they had a Betcher leadership meeting, which they asked me to be part of a couple of weeks ago, and there were probably 23 different mayors, managers from across the state, and just listening to some of the problems that exist across the state, and some of how they're dealing with some of their issues. Pretty much we're all in the same boat. Just to let you know. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of that the governor signed the protect your neighbor phase, and for this COVID-19, and what that is going to be doing is putting more ability for the health department, the county, and the city, and all of the municipalities in the area, putting it back in our laps to maybe to self-govern as to how we move forward with COVID-19 protection. Although that we do have to, everybody, the entire health department, they're going to have to meet a certain criteria before they're even given the green light to move forward. I talked to Kim Gonzalez last week, and she said it's probably going to take about 45 days before they put together the entire plan. And I just asked her, I said, please make sure that we are involved ourselves. Last week, as you all know, the governor was here to sign the $1 million bill, and a couple of other bills that he had to sign that were all in the same ballpark as recreation. But it was nice to see that at least we got $1 million out of that. Started out with 6, went to 4, and down to 1, but at least we got something. So it's a start. Just wanted to mention to you, you probably saw that article in the newspaper that the Southwest Chief, they're giving us more fits. They want to cut back to 3 days a week servicing the area. We had, again, all of the senators from Kansas, New Mexico, and Colorado sign off and questioning their why they want to do this. And so we're beginning, there's another thing that we just have to deal with. And it was interesting today with this RPM bike thing that it could provide some good ridership back into Trinidad, which would help their ridership as well. So there's several senators, like I said, are questioning what they're doing. The other thing that the tourism board asked, and I'm going to go ahead and appoint somebody from the tourism board to be on one of the groups for the Fisher's Peak. And one of the groups, I think it would only make sense that they have someone in one of the groups, whether it's the communications, whether it's one of the others, so that they could be aware of what's going on with Fisher's Peak. So that would be something that I'll be doing here shortly, but I just wanted to let council know that. Just trying to get more people from the local level involved. Right now we have Mr. Goodall, we have Miss Grego, myself, and now we'll have one more. And we also have Tony Haas, who's on there. I can't remember if there's anybody else right now, but those are the 4 or 5 that we have locally here that are involved with the Fisher's Peak Initiative.
Tim
with-
Chrysler and
yeah,
Linda.
that's right, Tim.
also.
Yeah, Tim Chrysler, Linda, and might be another one too. But yeah, there's a few of us, so it's good to have this group on
Mayor, I
board.
don't mean to interrupt.
Sure.
But, you know, everything I hear on that, Amtrak deal, because recently they had a report about a study being done by Amtrak, and it says every time Cheyenne to Pueblo, Trinidad's never included in that. You are raising hell every time they do that.
Every time. Matter of fact, myself and Rick Klein, I say, you know, where's Trinidad on this? And I've had to bring that up almost at least every meeting in some shape or form. So, no, I'm giving them a heck on that. So, just to let you know.
Get well, sir.
Yes, I am. Let's go on to report by city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, for the fireworks, city staff was involved with that also, but
Good.
I applaud council for, you know, having the foresight and actually budgeting for that, and it was great, nothing but good reports, so thanks for that. Also, just wanted to give you a brief update on our AMI metering project. Johnson Controls has submitted a startup plan to the health department, and they have approved it with certain few conditions. So hopefully next week, the new company that they hired, their subcontractor, will be putting door hangers out, and there'll be some press releases. We'll start to reactivate that and get that project back on track. The virus really shut us down there, and so it's going to take some startup, along with that. Meter suppliers have backed up because they all closed down their factories. So this has been a ordeal, I guess is the word, but we're going to get it done, and the meters we have in place now are very useful, and we're getting more information that we're able to analyze. Once we have a full array of meters installed, there'll be a pretty good report to council on how much we're saving by charging for what is being used. Along those lines, as part of the COVID executive orders, the governor, issued orders that we could not disconnect any utilities. That order has run out. His last order was to direct the PUC to help with payment plans and such. We do that already. We are going to start softly sending out letters. We've got quite a few people who have, unfortunately, let some things go, but we haven't turned them off. We've got to start that payment program up. Disconnects will start up again. We helped them through, again, with council's directive to give $100,000 worth of support, and we helped a lot of customers come through, but now it's time to start that process up. I know it's a tough one, but just if you hear they need to come into the utilities, their utility department along with Cheryl going to send out letters notifying them of programs that are available, of the payment plan that we'll help them get caught up with. The governor also extended the LEAP program and put some CARES money to that, so we're letting them know all the options to help them out. So and then ease back into some kind of normalcy. But with that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. The one thing I wanted to mention, I think we talked a while back that there's still a third round of, or we're still in our second round of distribution of monies to businesses. One of the things that bothers me, I know that there are a couple of businesses in town that we have given money to and they've not even opened up. They've never even tried to open up. And I question that. So I'll mention those. I'm not going to mention who they are, but I think that's something that needs to be known. It's concerning to me. Mr. Downs.
Mayor, thank you. And Mayor and council members, I hope you can hear me okay. When I have these earphones in, I can't hear myself. So I know you would like to have a similar problem. But good, thank you, Mike. So I just want to say I don't have anything to report on, but I would just like to comment on the code enforcement discussion and what was raised by Councilwoman Ogletree. And I would say I certainly don't have a problem with anyone having a conversation with Mike as a city manager about code enforcement. I would welcome either or all of you to do that. I just want to say in terms of Councilwoman Griego saying that Sergeant Haddo used to report to council on that subject. I just think that having council kind of monitoring code enforcement or who is abating weeds as a nuisance, as an example, is just sort of inviting council to delve into an area you don't want to go into, if that makes sense. I don't oppose having a work session on how it's done and things like that. I would just caution all of you that you don't want to go into like code enforcement monitoring, if that makes sense. I kind of got that impression that was headed. I see Councilman Ogletree nodding your head to the negative. I understand. But in terms of regular reporting and doing that thing, it would be kind of like having you monitor utility billing or monitor, like pothole filling. I just want to emphasize that point. Doesn't sound like anybody was going there. Thank you, Councilman Ogletree. And that is all I have. Some musings of a madman.
Okay. Beyond to item 11, executive session. For the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6-402 4E, Fox Theater Development and Lease Agreement. Motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second. Call vote, please.
DeBono?
Yes.
Goodall?
Yes.
Griego?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Shu?
Yep.
Williamson?
Yes.
Rico?
Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and give a few minutes, probably about 5 or so minutes. Mr. Murphy is in here and he's going to have to get his stuff and clear it out. So, and give us a little bit of break, and then we'll all convene up here in council chambers. Okay?
Are we leaving this meeting live or?
Yes. Yes, executive session is not live.
We'll leave this meeting.
Yes.
On, come back to.
Yes. Yeah. We have to come back for adjournment.